Good morning. My name is Professor Blessy George. I am from Nursing Department, Sanskriti University. So today we will be discussing with perspectives of mental health nursing. In this, primarily we will be discussing with mental health and mental illness. So in mental health, so as it is written, it is a state of balance between the individuals and the surroundings world, a state of harmony between oneself and others, coexistence between the realities of the self and other people. So a mental health is a condition where, a mental health is a state where people exist harmoniously, the individual exists in the surroundings all together, they will understand the needs of every people and they will act accordingly. Now according to Carl Menninger, mental health is defined as an adjustment of human beings to the world and to each other with a maximum of effectiveness and happiness. If a human being adjusts with the environment and adjusts with the human beings to a maximum of effectiveness and happiness, then that state is known as mental health. Now, the components of mental health. There are basically three components in mental health. The components are the ability to accept self, the capacity to feel right towards others, the ability to fulfill life tasks. So these three components are very important in measuring the mental health. The first component is the ability to accept self. A mentally healthy individual feels comfortable about himself. He feels reasonably secure and adequately accepts his shortcomings. In other words, he has self-respect. So the thing is, if a person is mentally healthy, he feels comfortable everywhere. Wherever you put him, he feels comfortable. And he feels reasonably secure and adequately accepts his shortcomings. He is able to accept to his negatives. He is able to adjust to his negatives. He is able to adjust with his shortcomings. He takes criticisms. He takes your point of views. He takes your opinions and he'll try to change his attitude through his behavior. So the first one is the ability to accept self. Now the second one is the capacity to feel right. So an individual who enjoys good mental health is able to be sincerely interested in others' welfare. So what the thing is, one should be particularly interested in others' welfare. One should be looking forward to what others think, what is the benefit of others. Now the second thing is, he has friendship that is satisfying and lasting. He has a long-lasting friendship and his friendship will last long because he will deal his friends in that manner. He is able to feel a part of the group without being submerged by it. He will be in a group activities, he can enjoy group activities, he can participate in group activities, he will be a prime decision maker in group activities, he will be indulged in the group. He takes responsibility for his neighbors and his fellow members. If anyone is doing mistake, he feels that should be corrected and he feels for them, he can guide them to make their points correct. The third one is the ability to fulfill life's task. A mentally healthy person is able to think for himself, set reasonable goals and take his own decisions. So the thing is, he will be able to think for himself. What is right for him, what is good for him, what is not good for him. And he is able to take his own decision. Do I have to go in this path? I have to change my path. So he does something about the problems as they arise. Whenever the problems come, whenever a problem faces, he will try a solution to sort out the problem. He will try, in another word, he will try a remedy to sort out the problem. He shoulders his daily responsibilities and is not bowled over his own emotions or fear or anger or love or guilt. So he can continuously do the daily task and he is not frustrated by the daily stress. He is not frustrated by the daily activities which is given to him and he is completely normal. He is completely taken He is completely taking the duties which is given to him, and he will do this accordingly. Now, what are the criteria for mental health? There are so many criteria for mental health. The first one is adequate contact with the reality. The person should have a reality touch. The person should know what is happening in the society. The person should know what is in the society. The person should be in touch with the reality. The control of thoughts and imaginations, efficiency in working and play. He has adequate control of his thoughts. He knows what to do, when to be angry, when to be emotionally stable. So he has a control of his thoughts and imagination, and he will be efficient in his work and play activities. Social acceptance and positive self-concept and healthy emotional life are the common things. Now, the indicators of mental health. The first indicator is a positive attitude towards self. The second one is growth, development, and the ability for self-actualization and integration. So we will deal with this one by one. So in the indicators of mental health, there are three more points. One is autonomy, perception of reality, and environmental mastery. Now, what is a positive attitude towards self? So this includes an objective view of self, including knowledge and acceptance of strength and limitation. Like we had discussed before, one should know their strengths, one should know their limitations, on what ground they are positive, on what ground they are negative. So one should always know their positives, like he is compatible, he is a good decision maker. Like in limitations, he has short-term burners. So one should always know their strengths and limitations of the people. Now, second one is the individual feel a strong sense of personal identity and security within the environment. Whenever they are in an environment, he should be comfortable with the environment. He should not be angry. He should not be frustrated with the environment. He should be able to adjust with the environment. So that's about a positive attitude towards self. Now, second one is growth, development, and the ability for self-actualization. So this indicator correlates with whether the individual successfully achieves the task associated with each level of development. So in every stage of development, the individual has to go through various developmental stages. So this indicator, if he is able to self-actualize them, then that is known as self-actualization. Now, integration means it includes the ability to adaptively respond to the environment, and which help the individual maintain anxiety at a manageable level in response to stressful situation. So whenever a person is in a problem, he should adjust with the things. He should not be anxious, he should not be fearful, he should not get frustrated. He should sit simply and find a way to solve the problem. He can ask anyone to suggest a solution for the problem. So that is known as integration. Now, autonomy. So it refers to the individual's ability to perform in an independent, self-directed manner. The individual makes choices and accepts responsibilities for the wants and needs of others. So autonomy means, commonly saying, it is a freedom. So the individual should have freedom of choices. The individual should have freedom of taking decisions. So whenever he takes a decision, and if that decision goes wrong, he should be responsible for that. He should say that I had made the decision and that decision has been wrong. So you should accept the mistake whenever a thing happens wrong. Now, the perception of reality. This includes perception of the environment without distortion, as well as the capacity for empathy and social sensitivity and respect for concern of the wants and needs of others. So he should know what is the real life, what is the society thinking, what is the societal stature. So he should be aware of the societal needs, he should be aware of the sensitivity and respect of the society, so he should be able to be in touch with the reality. Now, environmental mastery. This indicator suggests that the individual has achieved a satisfactory role with the group, society or environment. He is able to love, accept and the love of others. So environmental mastery means in every condition he will be able to adjust the things. He can, if you give him a condition, he will be able to adjust. He will be able to submerge into the condition. He will be able to do his duties satisfactorily. Now, the characteristics of a mentally healthy person. So, the following characteristics are very important for a mentally healthy person. If you are a mentally healthy person, you should have the following characteristics. The first characteristic is he has an ability to make adjustment. Like we have discussed before also, a mentally healthy person should adjust themselves. In every situation, in any situation given, he should be able to make adjustment if adjustments are necessary. If adjustments are necessary, you should be able to change according to that. So the first point is he has an ability to make adjustment. Now second one is he has a sense of personal worth, feels worthwhile and important. So he considers himself as a worthy person. So in the whole world we know many people consider themselves as not worthy. Why we had born? What's the purpose of our birth? So there should be a sense of worthy. There should be a sense of value for their birth. Why he is important? What is the purpose of his life? So he should know what is his purpose, his personal worth and his importance. Now he solves his problem largely by his own effort and makes his own decision. We discussed before also, if he has any problem, he will try to solve out his problems as early as possible or as quickly as possible or by himself. And he takes his own decision. Majorly, if a mentally healthy person is there, he will try to solve out his problems as early as possible or by himself. And if he is not capable, then only he will be suggesting, then only he will be taking opinions from other people to solve the problem. So this characteristic of mentally healthy person. Now the next one is he has a sense of personal security and feels secure in a group, shows understanding of the other people's problems and motives. So when a person is in a group, when a person is in a group of members, so he will be understanding the group, he will be understanding the group motives, he will be understanding the group leaders, he will be showing interest in the group activities, he will be actively participating in the group problems, and he will try to solve with his calmness and coolness of mind. Now he has a sense of responsibility. If a mentally healthy person is, the next characteristic is he has a sense of responsibility. He should be responsible for everything he is doing. There should be a positive, there should be a negative, but he should be responsible for that. He should take responsibility, and if anything goes wrong, there should be an acceptance for him that I had done wrong. He can give and accept love. So that the thing is, a mentally healthy person can give and accept love. Now he lives in a world of reality rather than fantasy. So the thing is, the person will not live in a daydreaming subject. Like he will be thinking that this will happen to me, this will be the benefits if I do a good thing. So he will not live in a world of fantasy. He will live in a world of reality. He shows emotional maturity in his behavior and develops a capacity to tolerate frustration and disappointments in his daily life. If anything happens wrong, then the person will not get disappointed. If anything happens wrong in his character also, in his maturity behavior also, then he develops a capacity to tolerate that frustration. If most of the people are working here, then they will be having any tensions, frustrations. If they are going to show them to their family, then that will be of a very disappointing to the family also. So the thing is, they have to tolerate the frustration, they have to be in the family, they have to act according to the family. The thing which has passed, like school, university, mein jo bhi problem tha, they have to deviate from that thing, and they have to show interest in their particular family also. Now he has developed a philosophy of life that gives meaning and purpose to his daily activities. So he should have a philosophy of life. He will be following a philosophy of life that has a purpose in his life. He has a variety of interests and generally lives a well-balanced life of work, rest and recreation. So a mentally healthy person will be having adequate rest, will be taking adequate rest, adequate sleep and a well-balanced life. Now, so far we have been discussing with mental health. So we have defined mental health, we have discussed about the components, and we have discussed about the characteristics of mentally healthy person. Now we'll move to the mental illness. So as you know what the mental health is, mental illness is a subject which is a maladjustment in living. It produces disharmony in the person's ability to meet human needs comfortably or effectively and function within a culture. So mental illness is a condition, mental illness is a state where the person cannot adjust properly to the surroundings, cannot adjust properly to the needs where they are being put off. So mental illness is a maladjustment in living. It produces a disharmony in the person's ability to meet human needs. So the person cannot meet his human needs, the person cannot be harmoniously there. So mental illness is that maladjustment in living. So in general, an individual may be considered to be mentally ill if, so the following points are considered if a person is said to be mentally ill. The first point is the person's behavior is causing distress and suffering to self or others. If the person's character, if the person's behavior is causing problem to one of his colleagues, is causing problem to others in the society, and after knowing that also the person is not able to change, then that's known as mentally ill. He knows he is doing wrong, he knows he is doing mistake, but after that also he is not able to change. That's known as mentally ill person. The second one is the person's behavior is causing disturbances in his day-to-day activities, job and IPR. So if a person's activities are becoming a hindrance to the daily activities he is performing, or if the person's activities are a hindrance in maintaining interpersonal relationship with other people, then the person is not mentally fit. So these are the 2 points that should be considered when the person is considered to be a mentally ill patient. So in definition, mental and behavior disorders are understood as clinically significant condition characterized by alterations in thinking, mood or behavior associated with personal distress or impaired function. So what the thing is, so mental or behavior disorders are a kind of disorders which have a significant deviations from their normal mood, normal behavior and normal thinking. Now the characteristics of a mentally ill patient. What are the following characteristics? What are the characteristics which can be seen for a mentally ill patient? Changes in one's thinking, memory, perception, feeling and judgment. So they will not be having a stable thinking, they will not be having a stable thought for a particular purpose. They will be having changes in thinking, they will be having changes in memory, they will be having changes in perception, feeling and judgment, which results in changes in talk and behavior which appears to be deviant from the previous personality or from the norms of the community. So according to this, any changes in thinking, any changes in memory, perception, which changes the previous behavior of the patient. Normally the client has been behaving in a good manner, and suddenly the patient is changing, suddenly the patient is getting deviated from the behavior, suddenly the patient is going out of the normal routine, then that has to be taken into consideration. So these changes in behavior are cause distress or suffering to the both individuals or the family, or individual or self, or individual or both, then that's also a characteristic. If these behaviors, the result of these behaviors, through the result of these behaviors, the individual or the society is getting affected, then that's also a prime characteristic of mentally ill patient. Now, the changes and consequent distress cause disturbances in day-to-day activities, work and relationship with important others. So we have discussed this point before also. if that activities, if any of the activities is causing disturbances in day-to-day activities, and which can be in work, which can be in day-to-day activities, and which can be relationship with the family members or any other thing, if any changes are happening, then that's also a characteristic feature of mentally ill person. Now we'll move to the next topic, Mental Health Act. So the Indian Mental Health Act was drafted by the Parliament in 1987, but it came into effect in all states and union territories on India in 1993. So in the Indian Mental Health Act, which is known as MHA, which was drafted by the Parliament in 1987, but it came into existence in 1993. So this act replaces the Indian Lunacy Act of 1912. So previously one act was established which was in 1912. That act is known as Indian Lunacy Act. So this act replaces the Indian Lunacy Act. So why the Indian Mental Health Act has to be established? What are the reasons for the enactment? What are the reasons for the establishment of the Indian Mental Health Act? The prime reason is the attitude of the society towards the mentally ill has changed considerably, and it is now realized that no stigma should be attached to such illness, so it is curable practically when diagnosed at an early stage. So what is the thing is, earlier the society was in a thought that mental illness is that kind of illness which has no cure. That has to be changed. Mental illness is also a kind of condition which has treatment, which has cure. If you are finding it in an early stage, complete cure, complete recovery is possible. That has to be changed. The previous thought of the community people that there is no cure available, it is because of the previous sins of the forefathers, that has to be changed. So first point is that. Second one is, thus the mentally ill individuals should be treated like any other sick persons, and the environment around them should be made as normal as possible. So for this thought, normally every person will be undergoing treatment. So the mentally ill person, your mentally ill illness is also a condition that has treatment available. You can give treatment for the patient. But the thing is, if you are finding it out in an early stage, then the treatment is more and more relaxable, more and more effective than being in a complicated stage. The second one is, the experience of working with the Indian Lunacy Act 1912 has revealed that it has become outmoded with the rapid advancement of the medical sciences and understanding the nature of the malady. It has therefore become necessary to make refreshed legislation in accordance to the new approach. So it has been like in 1912 it has been established. After that around 60-70 years has been passed out, 60 years has been passed out. There are no improvements in mental field, there are no changes happened in mental field, there are no fresh legislations have been happened in mental field. So that is also one factor which has led to the enactment of Indian Mental Health Act. Now what are the objectives of Mental Health Act? To regulate admission into the psychiatric hospitals or nursing homes. Like we had discussed before, earlier the thought of the society was the mental illness was due to a serious sin, a previous sin of the forefathers. Mental illness was due to a previous problems which has happened in the family. So to take admission into the psychiatric hospital, Mental Health Act was formulated. The second one is to protect the society from the presence of mentally ill prisoners. We know the society will be having mentally ill persons outside, so they will be attacking, they will be throwing stones. So to protect the society from mentally ill prisoners, the Indian Mental Health Act was established. The third one is to protect the citizens from detained in psychiatric hospitals or nursing homes without any sufficient cause. So there are conditions where the persons are being in the hospital without sufficient cause. After the treatment also the patient will not be taken into the homes. After the treatment also the patient will not be allowed to get discharged from the homes. So you cannot keep a patient continuously in a psychiatric homes without proper reason. So there are, in previous stages, in previous years, there are many situations there which happened, like many patients are being kept in the psychiatric hospital without sufficient cause. So to change that one, Indian Mental Health Act was also established. Now, to regulate maintenance charges of psychiatric hospitals and nursing homes, like every psychiatric hospital, like every hospital, maintenance or changes which should be happen in the psychiatric hospital, that should be also done. So that purpose also Mental Health Act was also there. To provide facilities for establishing guardianship of mentally ill person who are incapable of managing their own affairs. If a mentally ill person is not capable of looking after his own property, that should be the duty of the government, of the court, to provide a guardian to the patient. To establish central and state authorities for mental health service. There should be adequate facilities, adequate authorities to control central and state authorities to give adequate positions, adequate facilities for mental health facility. To regulate the power of the government for establishing, licensing and controlling psychiatric hospitals or nursing homes. So the government is having a sole power to license the mental health hospital, a mental psychiatric hospital, to establish the uniform standards that this should be there. These are the procedures should be there in a psychiatric hospital. These are the things that should be there in a psychiatric hospital to give a license to the hospital. Now, to provide legal aid to mentally ill person at state expenses in certain criteria. The thing is, if a person is not able to give money for their treatment, the state will give money, state will give their expenses, state will bear the expenses in state level. So these are the things which are the objectives of Indian Mental Health Act. So we have discussed about the objectives of Indian Mental Health Act. The salient features of this act. So this act is divided into 10 chapters which consist of 98 sections. So that's about chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4 and to chapter 10. So the chapter 1, it contains preliminary information and some definitions. So it contains some basic information in chapter 1. The basic information includes definitions regarding to psychiatry, definitions regarding to psychiatric nursing. The first one is psychiatric hospital or nursing homes. So what is a psychiatric hospital or a nursing home? A psychiatric hospital or a nursing home is maintained by the government or any other person for the care of mentally ill person. So any institution which is controlled by the government or a private which is for the cure, treatment of a mentally healthy person, mentally ill person, then that kind of hospital, that kind of institutions are known as psychiatric hospitals. Now, who is a psychiatrist? He is a medical practitioner possessing a postgraduate degree or diploma in psychiatry recognized by the Medical Council of India. A psychiatrist is a person who is having a diploma or degree which is by the Medical Council of India, that is who known as a psychiatrist. Now, who is a mentally ill person? A mentally ill person is a person who is in need of treatment by reason of any mental disorder other than mental retardation. So, like we have discussed about mentally ill person before also, this is a type of person, this is a person who is in need of treatment regarding mental diseases. Reception order. So, this is an order made to give admission and discharge for the mentally ill persons in a psychiatric nursing. So, we will stop right now. Thank you for listening to my class.